Okay, so we are recording. Yes, Ashley is the one with the pop-up. They've been working on it. She's traveling. Tino, we think, may be in Greece. Linda, we know, is in one of the Hawaiian islands. We forget which. Kari, we don't know where you are. And let's see, Paula, yes, we know where you are, delivering beautiful yoga stuff. Stacy's got her sister here, and they are out looking for property or somewhere that she might live when she returns. She'll be leaving at the end of this month to go to Colorado for a couple of months, and then back to Texas probably. And I don't want to leave anybody out. Well, if I did, it was unintentional. Okay, I want to start with, and I'm going to pretend I'm teaching to this whole big class, that going back over the meditations of 1995 have been more than I expected, in the sense that some of the basics that I learned back there in the very beginning, are so commonplace to me that I forget to reiterate about it and emphasize it to those that might be a little newer. And yesterday, Lynn and I were sitting there talking, and I was telling her that had she ever been in the temple when everybody used the bowls to speak after, and everybody's being in the bowls all at once and talking through the bowls, and I realized no, she hadn't been in one of those. So things have gone on way, way, way in the back, in the past, that are very important. So one of which is in the meditation of 40795. And I'm going to read that. I thought I would read it all. Let's see if I do. I don't know. And remember that when this starts out, that the entities, and that's what I call them, are teaching me. And literally, I am very, very fresh at all this. I am absorbing every little word they say. So it starts off saying, we, the entities, enter in the middle of your process, for we have been observing you, watching you deal with, play with, sort through both the knowledge that you have found and the physical feeling of that knowledge. Now just listen to that, just that statement, the physical feeling of that knowledge, because now we know that that knowledge does have a physical feeling. It really does. Finding the silent place, opening what feels like the doors to the silent place, and sensing source flowing through you. It's that sensation. And I can remember thinking that it really did feel like I was opening up something when I would move into the silent place. I remember that. When you made that connection, you began to see and feel that the silent place began to get larger, and that it was not the small, quiet place that you once visited, but that it had become roomy. There is room for you to move about. There is room for you to rest. There is room for you to exercise. It feels large and expansive. I can't tell you how important that particular meditation was, because literally I had conceived of this little warm place inside of me that was very, very quiet and very, very silent. But I hadn't really gotten to the place that was my learning room, and that it could be whatever I choose or chose it to be. It was very, very mystical, very, very sacred, but I didn't know much about it. There's room for you to move about. There's room for you to rest. I just said that. At this moment, you can feel our words have begun. Excuse me. At this moment, you can feel our words have been received also by the mechanism, and a slight tightness has formed in your throat, which indicates a minor, but yet true, sense of fear. Fear created by thinking about dimensions of the silent place, asking how big, how small, how big can it get? Real life situation of that's going on with me and that sense in my throat. Questions that are formulated from the physical, originating in the mind, traveling to the throat, and you find yourself focusing your attention there. Feel that sensation and feel deep, deep within it. And there you'll once again find the silent place. It's right there with you. Once again, I want to emphasize what that meant to me, because that was the first time that they had ever said, follow the sensation and go to the silent place. Feel the energy that was manifesting tension being transformed into pure energy. They use pure energy back there. When you feel your attention shift back to the head mechanism that is producing the negativity, choose not to process it over and over again. By bringing your attention to the sensation, you bring the resistance into the silent place. And by watching and feeling the negativity resistance, you will observe the energy be transformed into the balanced field. It is not altered into positive. It is transformed into neutral. Girls, boys, it is not altered into positive. It is transformed into neutral. Paving from neutral always accelerates results. We welcome the coming together of your knowledge and experience and seeing the knowledge turn into wisdom. Precious are the moments that you are experiencing. Treasure the experience of the mystery. Breathe the wisdom. Enjoy the journey. Relate to all that is around you and bring it into your field of vibration and see what transforms from that. This is
Corey.
Okay. Be creative, and I love this. Be creative. Be a risk taker using your words. Try this very different approach to life, and you will find that what you perceive as a problem in this space can be transformed into its original pure form. It goes on. Be with this space and bring your physical body into your vision and see the energy swirling around your feet, around your legs, around your hips, around your arms, around your heart, around your head. See it transforming and healing. Allow the energy to move through your body and out the other side. See the body as being porous, not opaque. See the oxygen breathing in through all your pores and out through all your pores. And again, be creative. It is one of your gifts, and you should let it flourish. Joy is present. We are through. So I bring this as being my part of the literature, kind of, but I also realized, and Lynn, I don't think we've done this since you've been with us. We used to start out by having everyone say what they were physically feeling before we started the meditation, because that's where the attention was. And I don't do that anymore. And one of the reasons I don't do that anymore, really, on the meditation, the Zoom, or not the Zoom, but the recording, is, you can't hear everybody talking, and obviously it's not as easy. but the next time we get together, I certainly will. But all this circles back, is that right before this, I think it was at 10:15, I've been having trouble with my contacts and virtual with dogs and lots of little things. Hattie's kind of sick, and not she ate something bad. Anyway, I just wasn't. I wasn't ready. I wasn't in a place at all to do the Zoom, and I said, I need to lay down. I need to just be with what I've got. And I did this whole process, this whole thing, laying there, not even remembering that that's what I was taught to do, because it's so commonplace for me. And then I felt, well, I should take you through everything I felt. I felt like I was in a cage, and I could, and then I thought, because everything was pressing in on me, and I thought, now what kind of ways can I maneuver through this cage? And I began to breathe and do all the things that we do. And then before long, the cage was not there. I got up from that and I said, now I need to read what I'm going to read today. Wonder what it says. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but there it is. All of it right there. Okay, so to capsule what I just said is that one of the basic things that we have learned is to go to the sensation that you're having and let it lead you inward. Mm. And without really meaning to, I've kind of moved away from that, and I'm bringing it back full circle big time.
Yeah, because the one part that you said, I thought I forgot, but I just remembered it. What it kind of brought tears is feeling the sensation in your throat, which is restriction. And I don't know how it was worded, but it was feeling it until it goes deeper to the silent place. I think that I understand that, know that to do that, but sometimes I don't go all the way in, to the resistance or whatever.
Lean into.
Well, and
like I have been before, but it's something that sort of taken for granted, maybe.
You do have to take a minute or two to do it. But I'm telling you, it only took me 10, and usually we have 10, but you do have to find a place to allow it completely. And, I know that in the workaday world, that's not always as easy. And I think, Jill, you're the master of going to your car.
You can't multitask on that one, right? You can't be like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to keep doing this.
But, what we're saying is any sensation can lead you inward. Any sensation can lead you inward. No matter how perplexing or negative it feels. So yes, it not only is it possible, but it's equally easy to forget.
I agree. And I think maybe for me, it's been more where I'm jumping to what that feeling looks like, maybe, versus taking all the steps.
That's right.
Yeah, taking all the steps of like, wait, well, what is that feeling? Like, wait, is it that sort of a little bit sleepy in the front of my eyes, or like that step? I don't know that I'm skipping it, but I'm not consciously doing that step.
Well, we've got so many tools, really.
yeah.
We really do. But I guess it just going back over these things is helping me see. It's like golf. You go back to the basics. If you're having everything, we need to go back to the basics. So I feel like when people hear this, because I'm sure that Ash has never heard about this, maybe even Stacy, possibly Tino. I know Kari hasn't. So Paula has. But it's time to remember some of those things. So that's what we're doing right now. Yeah.
Love that.
Love it. Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah.
too. And I'll send this hard copy out
Yeah.
too. So, all right. Well, I already decided that I was going to go on the top, and Cheryl, you're top left. So you get to start with
Okay,
either way you want to go. You can set the tone.
okay. Before I start mine, I want to say how much I love breathing in and out of the pores.
Yes.
Was
yes.
that the first time we heard that?
Yes.
I just wrote it down because just the thought of it is so comforting
Yeah.
that it's an all over. It's not just right here.
Mhm.
It's not that.
Yeah. I feel like the soft breath or the silent breath is a little bit of that.
Uh-huh.
Just letting the air escape from
It's,
everywhere in your body.
yes, it's very cleansing.
It is. And that, I know this is just essence, but this is so cute. Yesterday, Lynn, you were there to hear it. We had some people staying at the RV sites, and Marianne is a friend of mine that has not been around in a while, but now it's back a little bit. And so they were talking, and I had mentioned to the girl at the RV site to think about breathing into her tummy. And because was talking about how anxious she was and everything. And so she worked with that for just a second. Marianne was earlier that day. I said, we're doing this deal now where when we breathe in, we spread our shoulders out. Anybody been that meditation?
Mhm.
So and so she started doing that. So they were talking later together, and then she said, she taught me how to breathe through the shoulders, no, through the tummy.
Oh, so they had mixed instructions.
They just keep coming. All right, Cheryl, yes. So through the pores, and I didn't throw in silent breath. That really confused them. All
Yeah.
right.
Okay, I wanted to talk about how my reaction with Peacock the first time just totally threw me. The one where I didn't think I was getting anywhere.
Right.
So here's what I realized. The first time I did it, the instructions were to stop here at the shoulders and then connect the breath with the coolness of the crystals. Normally, almost as soon as I sit down and hold the crystals, I can feel it moving up my arms. It comes here, it goes around. I can feel my face and my head. And when I was told to stop, I locked up. I tapped the brakes. I didn't know what to do. And so I realized that I do this even in real life. When I know what's coming, I can go. When I don't know, I am, whoa, wait a minute. And it was because when I went back to do it the second time, it was perfection, just like it should have been the first time. But this is what stopped it.
The mechanism jumped in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So anyway, I loved finding that out
Yeah.
about myself and the way I think things should be. As
Even in a
opposed to-
meditation.
Yes.
Yeah.
As opposed to what they are.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
appreciate that.
I learned a lot from that. And I was also telling Beth, this is turning into be a real positive for a lot of people. I know that's an odd opening, but my niece, who I consider my pretend daughter, and she calls us her surrogate parents, found out last week that she has breast cancer.
Oh.
And it was caught very, very early. I mean, so early that they're not doing surgery till August 20th. So that tells you she's fine. It's not going to get any worse. It's very slow growing. But the panic I was in, total encompassing fear, cold. I meditated and I felt in the meditation, I could feel myself loosen up and get where we know we should be. But as soon as I got out, anything that made me think of it, I was frozen again. So when it turned out to be better news than what we thought, the relief I felt was as immense as the fear was. And I almost just went on and bypassed it, but I told Beth, hold on here a second. Give the relief its moment and see how that feels. You let the other feel, let this feel.
Good.
And I'm a whole different person, letting myself recognize that part of me. We are not immune to fear.
No. And you came back to neutral.
I did. I came back to neutral. And she is coming with me in our conversations.
Oh, yeah, you're going to see the beauty in this. So every turn, aren't you?
Mhm.
Wow.
Oh, that's so good. Next.
Who is next on your list?
You want to?
I've got something. I've got
Yes.
something. So the meditation that made Peacock, I loved, by the way, Cheryl. Peacock for me, the wings changed.
Yes.
Which I thought was so cool because our wings changed. And I've had my wings change since that meditation now and again.
And the
Like,
other
I'm
day
like-
you talked about how your wings were lighter. So when the peacock wings came up, I went, that's what she was talking about.
Isn't that true?
Yes.
It's so true. And now sometimes because I do my wings every morning, right? And so at night too, when I remember at night. But sometimes they are the big heavy wings, sometimes the butterfly, and now the peacock. So now I have lots of different wings. So I'm very, 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 very excited.
A
about
wing
that.
wardrobe.
I do. Oh, there you go. You're so clever. And then I think we're going to talk about expectations. So I'll leave my stuff about that, my little words about that there. But are you good if we talk about, you said something about we could talk about the Guide to the Void? That was part of our
Absolutely.
homework.
Anything in your literature? Yes.
Yes. So my Guide to the Void, which was so meaningful and so changing and like the next level and all that. I read this part again and I'll read it and then I'll read my notes. It shouldn't be too long, but since there's 4 of us, we have a little bit of extra
Let her
time.
roll.
Yeah. Finding the words that went with these feelings was my next step to this journey. I knew that if I could identify the feelings, I would be able to bring them into awareness. I went on the search for them just like you are doing now. Let us continue your search. The void may not have a one-word description. It may just be a feeling. It may have many facets that reflect from the same origin. It is a feeling you are familiar with, but may find it hard to describe. It can be something you feel you are lacking as a person. You may see it as a shortcoming that you hide. It is the thing you might not want to admit about yourself, or it could be something that you accuse yourself of daily. That page. And then my notes say this: I shut down and it takes my power. And then I put moving quickly keeps it at bay. Keeping busy helps hide it. And then I wrote this, holding people responsible instead of doing or being the doer. So that's a positive thing. That I'm usually doing or being the doer versus holding people responsible. So something came out of those other words about shutting down and moving quickly and keeping busy. And then at the very end, I wrote, the criticizing brought the void to the surface. The shutting down eclipsed it. Isn't that weird?
Got
I
it.
thought that was,
No,
um,
I, I felt that as you were saying it. I felt that, like I felt Cheryl's release,
yes.
relief. I mean, those are things you can really feel.
And I think
Mhm.
going through that, reading this and remembering the process that we went through. I mean, I didn't remember these individual things, but it was a very, or that I wrote down, it brought them to the surface again to remind me about acknowledging the void and bringing it to the surface, really, not hiding
Right.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Lynn,
Okay.
I
let's
don't
see.
mean to jump past that because I'm still in that feeling.
So it was interesting to me as I went through each of our homework. How it all came to the same theme for me, I guess.
Ah,
But let's see. Lines from the Void, which I had here. Let me see what I had. Okay, let's start at the top. So the void generates any feelings of pressure upon you. It inherently feels different from its surroundings. It has a sense of being separate from the whole. And that really hit home because I've always felt different than most. And what I wrote down from that was how I tried for a long time to live as the world would think of as normal, to see me as normal, but I wasn't being true to myself. And that was the pain that it brought me throughout my life until I was able to just say, just let it flow and be and that's what brought happiness, to me.
Mhm.
So
Let yourself be, wait a minute. Oh, you had a word, not weird,
different.
rebellious.
Oh, yeah, rebellious. Yes. Self be rebellious. And I love that part of me.
I did too.
So yeah, very freeing.
Hearing these words from, I've got to go back and read the workbook, don't I?
mm.
Mm.
Thanks for having that be part of our homework, because I don't know that I would have.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm.
because you gave us a lot of options, and that
Mm.
came up for me. So
And both of y'all picked that. Cheryl, what'd you pick?
I didn't pick out of the void. I picked peacock.
Okay.
oh, good for you.
Did you not go back to the literature?
I went back to the pluses.
Oh, okay.
You want me to read a plus?
Yes.
Okay.
I have
There's
some of those
one-
too. You go first, of course, Cheryl.
Okay, I'm looking which one I want to read first. Okay. It's page 5. Feels so good to know that we can replenish ourselves. We often think that to refresh ourselves, we need a vacation or another person to assist us. But the truth is, it comes from within. Anytime you choose to release the old and allow room for the new, you are being replenished. And that's what I felt like I have done this last week.
No kidding.
I have more, but
You
Go
wanna
ahead,
read
because
one?
I don't have pluses. I have I misunderstood. I have the 3 things that we,
I have
Something
that.
about-
Yeah,
okay, yeah, but do some more pluses because I don't have pluses.
I'm going to give you this one. And this one, I'm reading it every day. And this is what I'm reading to my niece, Jen, or writing to her. Everything in life is a spiritual path. Honor it all.
Even
That's
the
page
fear.
8. Yes, even the fear.
even the fear.
And she gets it. So it's not like I'm, being a preacher to her.
That is absolutely fabulous. Lynn?
Let's see, what do I can do anything? All right, I
Mhm.
did the peacock and
Guess we could start on the three things. We'll each take one until we're done.
Okay.
Okay.
so my first one is the three things that I love is how it will transform me to that place of peace automatically, unlike anything that my mind could do or prayer or anything like that. It takes me, transforms me. That's what I
Perfect.
love.
That's
I-
my first one was growth. So pretty much
Oh,
the same. Yes.
Yeah,
And mine was ease.
ease. Oh, isn't that sweet? I love that.
Mhm.
Mine is that it gives me a perspective on life that's totally different. You don't realize, you guys, how
Mm.
ingrained it is until you're around some people that just absolutely are not functioning that way at all.
That's
And I have to tell you, I'm going to do my chime thing. So I was around this lady the other day sitting in Sniffy's, and oh my gosh, I've never heard anybody espouse so much negativity in
Aw.
a 20-minute time. And Bruce was standing there. Bruce was standing there, sitting there, and I was sitting there, and my chimes were not very far away. And I just went and got them. And while she was talking, I was going, just to bring any kind of lightness to the room. And she just kind of look over there at me and keep talking. And Bruce was cracking up. He knew exactly what I was doing. And he was trying to keep a straight face. I was just hearing this beautiful tone and just kind of beginning to cover her up with all. It was really funny. I don't have any idea what she thought. And I don't know. It didn't matter to me.
No.
Isn't that funny? So
Yes.
keep your chimes handy.
I have two
Isn't
little
that-
antidotal
Uh-huh.
things, very quick though, but so I don't know if you guys can see this picture. So my one daughter and son and grandchild are in Denmark. The other family is in Colorado. One of my stepsons here with, in the same town as John and I right now, but the two others are traveling, having adventures. But it's a really pretty picture. And yesterday, my oldest daughter sent this to me and she said, made me think of you. And that's
What is it a picture of, Jill?
it's I'll send it to you guys really quick, but it is a picture of the mountains. They're up in the mountains. They were doing a long hike, and I'll just send it to Wings, and people will say, "Oh, well, that's lovely." Well, now they'll know from our video. But anyway, I just sent it to you. That, and then I was just going to show you that. That's my oldest daughter. So you all have met Amanda, my youngest, who is meditates and does all that stuff. And then the oldest daughter of mine, her 5-year-old lost her tooth last week. First tooth, and she has an 8-year-old sister. And so it was the best thing ever in her whole life that she finally lost her first tooth. But what do you think she left for the tooth fairy was a crystal?
Oh, no.
Is that amazing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the coolest thing is, they know me. I'm kind of like you, Lynn, where and probably Cheryl and everybody, where they know that family knows me as different, let's say. They're very strict Catholics and that kind of thing. They love me to pieces. They're not judge me, but they do know me that way. But the interesting thing is that those two things really made me smile, because it wasn't anything I suggested or brought. It just comes to them, which I think is really, really cool. So
I do too.
Acknowledgement and the finest.
Mhm.
isn't it?
It really, really.
How did that
is.
baby leave the tooth fairy? A crystal. And that's
When
my
you
nanny
heard
gave her.
it, you teared up, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I was like, I didn't say a word, I kind of kept it to myself of like that. But I'm like, well, that was a good choice for the there.
Okay, so Lynn, you next with your second one.
And my second one was the connection to you all and others that get it. The feeling where we all know we have to, anyways.
Got it.
There's a feeling.
Yes, that the connect that we all
Mhm.
share and know very well is so I mean, it's huge, but it's so small compared to the other people in the world or around, or it's just the connection that we
Mhm.
have, like our biggest secret or something.
It is.
Ah,
I always
and-
call it my superpower,
yeah,
Yeah.
secret weapon.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at you. Can't you tell I'm looking at you, Cheryl? Isn't that funny? You can't.
No, but my next one is compassion for self.
Oh,
perfect.
Cheryl, that's so good. That's so good. Jill, I'm looking at you.
Okay, yes, mine I realize now, my second one is similar to my first, but mine says at your fingertips. So
Ah,
my second one was
I-
at
I
your
like-
fingertips.
I like the way these are different, going different directions. Afterwards, if you listen to it again, Cheryl, would you write them all down
sure.
so that we can just have a little, anyway. Okay, so mine, next one is, and obviously these are kind of redundant, but knowing that I have the ability to change my feelings from negative to neutral.
Mm.
Knowing that.
Mhm.
Is next. Back to you, Lynn.
Okay, number 3.
This is the number 3.
All right. I love how your visions are always different and it never gets, it's like so different. It always takes us somewhere else. So
Oh,
this
the meditations.
your meditations, yeah. And your visions are so helpful in just taking the mundane everyday, and
Mhm.
every day is so different.
Yes.
to do it, but that's what I love too. You never know where you're going.
Uh-huh.
Come in. Oh, that's good. Good. Thank you. Thank you. That's good feedback for me.
You too.
Yeah. Gia?
Mine, the third one said depth of feeling.
Yeah.
I was very lived superficially and surrounded myself with people like that for a long time in my early life.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to feel deeply,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
come rain, come shine.
Yeah. Ooh, add that to it.
I will.
When you're writing them
Yeah.
down, Cheryl, add the come rain, come shine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right. Is it your turn, Cheryl?
Yes, my last one is trust of all.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh, man. Oh, man. That's so good. Gosh, that's good.
I've had many conversations with you of late, Beth, about how, at first I said about why her, hasn't she had enough on her plate, blah, blah, blah. And that was my initial. And then I got to, and I also told you this, of we are all in each other's lives for reasons. We invite them and they invite us. And our family, we are all growing in different ways from what's going on with Jim. And I can see it.
Absolutely.
And so that has led me to that trust of all.
Mm. And how the first reaction is, no.
Mhm. Get away, get away.
Yeah, no, stop.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I learned. So Amanda has a girlfriend. Everybody's having babies around in her lives, but her girlfriend's sister just had a baby, and bad stuff, right? Really bad stuff. His name's Jace, Jace, I think it is. But I think they're spelling it Jayce. I call it JC, but it's Jace. But what I kept coming back to, while everybody's, there is a lot of panic, right? And things have improved and improved. And it's really, really fantastic. But I kept coming back to everybody's on their own path.
Mm.
Like we don't, I had to learn that the hard way, so to speak. But and that helps me in helping others. And I think Cheryl has she's walked us through her acknowledgement of that for her daughter, is that she has allowed her own path, and then she's there, and she says that's so funny. I mean, she's there next to her, supporting her, walking with her. She's walking, walking with her, and that in itself is an honor.
It is.
Cheryl's going to remember this, but years ago, and I was right in the middle of learning all this, and they thought I had ovarian cancer. Do you remember that, Cheryl?
I remember it. I remember it.
And everybody was, oh, and I said, don't take my cross away.
Such a party pooper always.
If everybody wants it not to be that way. And I said, how in the world am I going to get to the other side if I don't go through this? I don't want you praying for me. I don't want you doing anything. Let me drag this cross to the finish line. And that was my funny line. People, they had no clue what I was talking about, I'm sure. But I really, this has taught me that more than anything, is that everybody's got to go through whatever they've designed for themselves.
Mhm.
And we just, to wish it to be different, I guess you could label it compassion, because you don't want anyone to feel
To
I don't
suffer.
know. Huh?
Suffer.
Suffer.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
even the suffering is
Is important.
it is. And anyway, so my last one, I think I'm the last one with the third
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
And Linda and I used to use this term a lot, but now that it's surfacing again, it's the knowing with a capital K.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The knowing. It's to me, to us, that was the umbrella over it all, was the knowing.
That brings tears to my eyes.
Me too. I'm like, yeah.
That book that you you told me about, Beth, Conversations with God,
Yes.
Oh,
is so good. And it's all about this in one book that covers everything that we know about the knowing.
yes.
And it's experiencing the knowing. That's the
Did
beauty
you buy
of
it, Lynn? Or are you reading it online? Or
Yeah, it's on YouTube. So I just play it on YouTube, and I keep track of how far I've gotten, because it's 8 hours long. I'm only on hour 3, but it's so good.
it's fantastic.
Great.
I
It
forgot
is.
it.
Great way to listen to it. That's cool.
I use it through the day. I play it.
Can't
It's
remember
funny
what
you're-
made me.
Conversation with God.
It's funny that you're mentioning it, because I dreamed about it last night.
You
I
Wow.
did. And I woke up to myself at 6 o'clock saying, I need to read that again.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
What brought it up? Why did I bring it up to you, Lynn?
I don't remember.
See, to me, everybody read Conversations
Yes.
with God, but I realized that they didn't.
I've read it, but I'm going to read it again too. Cheryl,
Yeah.
I just said that to myself when Lynn was talking about it. I said, I've got to read that again.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Wow.
It is a leveler, and it brings everything to neutral.
Yes.
Takes the sting out of everything.
Mhm.
Everything. Yeah.
I remember
Everything.
thinking, finally, a God I could love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't, as everybody knows, I don't read much, but I read that and Eckhart's book, and of course Deepak stuff, which I think he's passe now. But there's 2 or 3 of the books actually. There's at least 2 Conversations with God, but the
Mhm.
first one is exceptional. And an incidental thing is a friend of ours' sister went on the road with him,
Mhm.
Neil Donald Walsh. And if you hear any singing at all, it's her.
And piano. Yeah.
She wrote him songs and stuff. Yeah.
Huh.
Isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about wait a minute, what the name?
Expectations?
Expectations. Would y'all like to hear me talk first, or you want to give me some little thoughts before I launch?
You
One
do.
thought is, I didn't make any notes on that one. I missed that one.
I
for our
didn't
home.
either.
Okay, so
I
you
listened-
haven't listened to it?
I have, but I don't remember it. Maybe when you talk
Okay,
about it.
all right. Well, the thing that I loved the most about it for me, and that I wanted to remember enough for us all to talk about, is it related having problems or situations to a math problem,
Mhm. Yes.
and that a very difficult math problem, and that you would not be able to find that particular part of the equation on the outside,
Mhm.
that you had to come inside for the equal sign to equal to being in sync with the universe.
Mhm.
And I just saw this enormously long math problem that you see written on those whiteboards now that are, solving singularity of the universe or something. And, somebody trying so desperately to come up with the answer. And sometimes that's the way we feel when
Mhm.
we're in all kinds of ways. If we've done something that we wish we hadn't, or whatever, some words that we used that didn't sound exactly like what we wanted, our intent wasn't in sync with our words, let's just put that way, that the answer to that equation is inside.
Mhm.
And once that can be felt, and maybe you bring the whole whiteboard in or whatever, but then the equal sign equals intent and being in sync with the universe. There was something very visual and very comforting about knowing that you could be perplexed,
Mhm.
very perplexed in the outer world, that it's not having the knowing that solves everything. It's just the knowing of where to go to find what you need.
Mhm.
So
So I listened, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go.
You finish that.
No,
Oh, I listened to that like the rest of the gang, but then I re-listened because it was part of our homework, because I too am like, wait, which one is that? And I loved that. I wrote expectations, feeling of loving oneself. The namaste was touching and heartfelt, because we did a namaste to
Uh-huh.
ourselves.
Yes.
And then expecting perfection rang true, hit home. And then I wrote just a note that says the math problem. But what I loved about the math problem was it to me, it was more of my thinking. So we talk about perfection. You talk about perfection in that as well. And so it
absolutely.
seemed like the perfection was the math problem, but when you brought it inside, the solution was allowing it not to be perfect, quite frankly, something like that, like, or me not to be perfect.
Yeah,
No,
the missing piece in the
yes,
equation is allowing the imperfection.
There you go. Okay. There you go.
I'm here to help.
Thank you. Thank you. I experienced it. It was hard to even speak it, speak
Yeah.
it out loud. But I will tell you, and I know you guys experience this all the time when you re-listen, but I listened to that sitting outside in my backyard with my big crystals, sunshine, light, and perfect, I think perfect viewing pleasure.
Mhm.
And when I re-listened to it, there was a big chunk of it that I felt like, was that part of the was that part of the first meditation
Did
I
I go to
listened
sleep?
to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What happened to me then? Which was almost, and it was like the missing piece of that meditation, even though I had a very good experience the first time. So that was kind of cool. I loved that going back brought so much to it. So.
I I am experiencing so much of that when I re-listen, and a lot of times I re-listen because y'all comment about how good something was, and I may have left the meditation thinking it was good, but when I re-listen, I go, "Good gosh, that's good." I mean, isn't
Mhm.
that good? And I say that humbly. But and I told Cheryl that how did I say it? I get that feeling or whatever when she said it wasn't doing anything for me. It was the choice of words, Cheryl. Um, but sometimes there will be a thought that floats
Mm.
through of, I wonder if this is getting in touch with anybody because I feel so far gone or so far
Mhm.
whatever. And so to re-listen to it and feel the intensity of it, because when I'm in it, it's very intense, obviously. Anyway, I don't know if I'm being quite clear there,
Mhm.
but uh, it can get kind of out there sometimes, and you don't know who's out there with you.
Well, I
But
think
now
that
you
brings
know it. Now you know it was my mechanism.
Oh, there you go. And Lynn, I think that brings Lynn's point when she said it's always different. It is so true. We never know going in where we're going to go, or it's just there's so many aspects. Like, are we going to be using a tool that we use, or are we going to go straight in? Like, are we going there like super fast? Like, you better be ready for whatever it is.
Is she going to give me a lecture?
Yeah, oh, I love that. I love those. I feel like like I'm in some sort of a privileged, I don't know, class or something like that. I love when we hear that.
Well, it's when I do that, I've really got something on my learning board or whatever that I've got to share. My mechanism is wanting to share. Do y'all like having it called the mechanism again?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always often feel that maybe out there in Zulu land, somebody's going, what? Every once in a while, I do get some listeners that are from who knows where. India. What are they doing? I want to know. What are they doing? Listening. Maybe they're trying to learn English.
And how did they find you?
And how did that? Well, SoundCloud, you can search it for me through meditations. It's the tag is meditation
Yes.
for life, I think, or for life change or something. Have you had any more of them show up on your phones?
Oh, when you went, no, but probably because I'm doing them frequently. It's only when I might have a pause that it just reminds me. Yes.
I want that to happen on my phone.
I know. I know. I think it's when I guess I haven't done it in whatever amount of time they think I should have, so.
Okay, so your homework for next is very simple. And then after the next one, I think we're going to take a little break. I know everybody loves doing it, but I think I need a little break. I may have a little sabbatical again or something.
That'd be good. Yeah.
But
Can't wait to hear what comes of that.
I know,
Yeah, so-
I'm good with that.
I'll tell you next time how long the break will be, but it'll be a little while. And, but the work is, you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
What have you learned your life lesson is?
That's,
And it's going to come from your your void. Because that's in the workbook. And one way that you might be able to help yourself know what it is specifically is to, and I'm going to use the word pretend, that you know what your last life was and what you left that last life knowing that you needed to learn in this one from it.
Pretend, say it again, pretend you know what? What your
Past life was.
okay.
And, you know, I'm making this awfully knitted into the idea of karma, but what I'm actually, it will help you if you can just use your imagination of what kind of activity, person, situation were you in the last life that you had to balance that out with this life. You want me to say it again, Lynn, still?
No, I'm getting it a little bit, I think.
You're already thinking about it, aren't you? Well, that has helped. That has helped me. And it could be very varied. It doesn't, I mean, you may have 3 or 4 different scenarios, and you may even have 3 or 4 different things that you feel like your life lesson is. I don't think that, I don't think we need to lock ourselves into thinking we have to find the thing, but you may. But it may be kind of like everything else we do. We start coming down through layers of understanding about it. But it was where we were headed when we did the void. And I forget what words I put in the workbook itself, but the void is here to fulfill your life lesson, for you to learn what it is. That's why you have it.
I think I already know.
Well, there you go. You can keep it a secret till 2 weeks. No, you can tell me today. You can tell me today over iced tea.
Okay.
August the 8th
Okay, thank
is
you.
when we will be in the know, Jill.
Yes, because I've already, my mechanism.
Okay, so
I'm thinking of all those places I've been in the world where I feel like I've lived in a past life. So that's going to be a good start.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I've had my what do they call it? I want to say Achilles heel. That's not it. Archives. No. Well, all right. I'm getting way off. The book. Come on, Jill. You know this.
Okay, let me think.
That everything has ever happened is in this book. All right, I'm gonna leave that be. I can't
Text it though when it comes to you, text it because I can't.
Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about though?
No.
Well, anyway, I've had mine read and they told me what my past life was, but I didn't believe that one. And I do think that if you think about this life and what it is teaching you, what you are being, if you will, forced to learn.
Challenged with, understood.
Forced to learn, you could have a pretty good idea of what the antithesis of that might be.
Mm-hmm.
And how the two could balance into neutral, into being a round contributor. Because I think the void is what leads us to this, and that's why we went down to learn about it.
Isn't that cool? And we brought up Voight this week.
Mhm.
Okay.
Namaste.
Namaste. Anything else?
Namaste.
Anything? No, no, no. I love you. Breathe in your shoulders. And silent exhale. Ooh. Namaste.
Namaste. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
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 Let's see. How do I get out of here? Ta-da.